Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be on a Monday night as we return from our Christmas hiatus here for the hottest skippy action in town. That's right, we're here for round 4 of the Monday Night Lights. I am your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again in the commentary booth is the good doctor, Dr. Alex John. Welcome back for another night of great action in the skippies at Interlagos.
Yeah, good evening, Alex. I'm looking forward to this one. We've got a nice spread of drivers tonight. We've got 3 splits with 60 drivers entering tonight, so that means a 20-car grid.
20-car grid in each of the 3 splits, and certainly our work will be cut out for us, no doubt, AJ. But what do we got tonight? About a 3,487 strength of field, putting us in the top 5 for the week, which is a fantastic return to racing for us, as we've had a couple of weeks off for the Christmas break, as we said, and the guys are back out and supporting us once again, which of course we're very pleased for, because once again we are by the community for the community, and it's great that the guys get out and support us, AJ.
Yeah, that's right, and what a track to return to as well. This track we know puts on a lot of good racing with the draft in full effect. So lots of people in here with a chance of bagging this one tonight, but plenty of big names as well. Antonitis is back. Gomes from Iberia. I haven't heard of Danny Gomes. Have you, Alex?
I don't recall racing with Danny Gomes, no, but certainly very strong driver with an I rating of over 5,200. Car plate number 2 in this car, only second only to Fahim Antonitis instead of his skill rating. Great to see Denisio Hansen here as well, the geodesic driver, coming out to support us in the series here tonight. No doubt try and get some recovery points for himself. He's had a bit of a rough trot lately in terms of his I rating, back up to 4,800 now. I tell you what, he can rack up some points pretty quickly. Quite an incredible control over these cars, very quick, and hopefully a great drive for him tonight, AJ.
Yeah, he'll be on fire, no doubt. He's very good in the skip Barber, and like looking right down the field, we've got the spread going all the way down to 2,500 I rating. So a good chance for some of those, well, not low rated I rating races, but the people in the 2,000s to get a chance in the top split tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see young Mick Gray back in action in the top split. Car number 18 here tonight, getting in there for a crack. Great supporter of the series, has been since its inception. In fact, as I've said before, Mick Gray, if you can believe it, won the very first Monday Night Lights race way back when, those 15 seasons ago. So great to see him back out and still continuing on his merry way, so to speak. Straight away, we have series favourite returning here tonight. Car number 6 tonight, representing Team Ivano, along with his teammate Fame Antonitis. Enzo Cantor back in action tonight. Of course, he is currently leading our championship. And as I mentioned that, why don't we take a look at our points? Let me just find the scores here. After round 1, Enzo Cantor with full points, 1 for pole and 30 for the win, sitting on top of the pops, with Elio Castells, well known to the skippy community, not well known to MNL, doesn't turn out for too many of our races. In P2, P3, Carlos Olvera Pascal, who had a great race that night back in round 1 at Lime Rock Park. And then Alan Blursey, is that how I say that? He was new to the series and managed to grab P4 on the night with Oscar Chinchilla Maza, favourite Iberian in amongst the many that turn out on a Monday Night Lights these days, grabbing P5, AJ. But with the couple of weeks off, the guys are back in action and looking to hunt down those points again tonight.
Yeah, that's right. It has been a couple of weeks off, and not many Australians racing. I was having a look at the results from the previous week, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. It was dominated mainly by drivers from Iberia, so I'll be looking to see if they're in practice and whether the Aussie guys are going to have to dust out a few cobwebs tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see Christian Kabanka out there. Cameras on him at the moment. Car number 5 for this race tonight. Obviously on holidays from the studies. Great young driver who's working his way through, trying to get some real track experience as well. So interesting to see what he brings to tonight's racing with that recent experience that he's had in not dissimilar cars, if not slightly more modern in real life, AJ.
Yeah, I have been following Christian Kabanka's real driving career, and He's put up some photos, some videos on YouTube. So if you get a chance, go and have a look at those because he's had a crack around real racetracks like Sebring, which is one of the classic iRacing tracks. So a very good thing to watch if you get a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Barry Arens joining us once again. Great to see Barry. Had a chat to him after the last race last season. He enjoyed his outing at Bathurst and is looking to be out there once again. Top of the pops so far tonight, Dennis Johansson. We were speaking about him before. No shortage of laps around here this week. And I tell you what, he's going all right. Dusting off a 49.895 around here is no small feat. Although, having said that, track temp's down around 21 degrees, which is great conditions if you love your skippies, AJ.
Yeah, I'm just having a look to see if everyone else has completed all of their quality laps. It looks like they have. So Dennis has put on an absolute flyer there. He's a quarter of a second clear of Enzo Cantor and Fahim Antonitis. So, that's just showing what you can do when you put in the lap times, the number of laps around here.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, there's no shortage of talent behind the wheel either. Just quietly, just focus on Matt Lee now. Car number 20 just snuck in tonight with an I rating of 25.87, hoping to progress as he just puts on a bit of a show through the final corner there. But as you say, Enzo Cantor only managing second, just ahead of his Team Movano teammate in Fahim Antonitis, who will be looking to make another great standing or great showing here tonight. In the last moments now, why don't we just check out our grid, starting grid for tonight's action. Dennis Johansson from Scandinavia, fantastic time, fantastic effort as he grabs pole, and just as I'd written him off, Fahim Antonitis has pipped his teammate Enzo Cantor by about a tenth. They're jumping up to second as I'd jumped the gun in the final stages of qualifying. P3 going to his teammate Enzo Cantor with a 150.1. Ignacio Senano Sanchez in P4 from Iberia. Great result for him, at least before the race gets underway. Christian Cabanca, we were talking about him before, from Californian Club with a 152 in P5. P6, Kevin Henderson. Fantastic qualifying result. I know Kevin's had some pace here this week with a 150.5. Team of Escalante done plenty of racing here this week and a really strong performer too. Looking forward to seeing how he goes tonight in this quality field. At P8, Oscar Chinchilla Maza in the top 5 for the series overall, representing Iberia strongly once again. P9, Danny Gomes that we were talking about. Number 2 plated car all the way down in P9. Interesting to see if he can make his way through the field. P10, Jose Isoria with a 150.7. 11th, Ben Snell from ANZ leading the charge there for Team Milo. Barry Arens in P13. P12. P13, Sean Curran from ANZ. 14, Samuel Collins from ANZ. The ANZ charge continues in P15 with Matt Lee and Mick Gray, stalwart of the club, in P16. P17, Daniel Edmonds from ANZ. Russell Clark, the second of the Team Milo drivers, all the way down in P18. Not his best performance. Dennis Fiedler, welcome back, Dennis. Ovaltine putting on a show here tonight in P19, and Peter Goller from Germany. That's Dutch, isn't it? The Dutch club in P20. And I'll tell you what, we got through it, AJ. That's the full grid for tonight.
Yeah, that's great to see. And, the international is really putting the Aussies to the sword. There's only one Aussie in Kevin Henderson up in the top 10. So it's a stacked field down the bottom full of ANZ drivers. So they'll be looking to move their way up. But I'm really looking forward to this fight between Johansson, Antonitis, and Cantor.
Yeah, absolutely. As the lights come on now, ready to rev their engines. Red's lights say rev. Green lights say go, and they are off for the next 12 laps around, no, I beg your pardon, 13 laps around this Interlagos track here in Brazil. Fantastic start as they race down into turn 1, and it looks like DJ's got away. Johansson getting away early with, is that Antonitis tucked in behind him, and Cantor relegated, well, not relegated, he's got a bit of a gap to make up now as he's about a full 1.3 seconds behind after 2 corners. Or is he? No, just the shade under a second. I got excited there, AJ, but look at those cars streaming down the first straight into turn 4. One of your primary overtaking opportunities, AJ.
Yeah, well, Sanchez was just having a little look up the inside of Cantor there on turn one, and that really highlights what will happen if you battle. You're going to lose time to the guys ahead, and Sanchez now having a look up the inside of Cantor. Oh, and it looks like they've made contact. Sanchez has been spat out to the outside, but Cantor has managed to walk away from that one unscathed. We'll have to see if he's got wheel damage from that.
Yeah, we're just on board with Sanchez. He looks to have got through with minor damage, if anything. Cantor looks to have no damage at all, potentially just a netcode contact there. But still, my prediction was right, 1.3 seconds, and you've got two very high race IQs out front there, and Antonidas and Johansson, who will be looking to run away with the chocolates at the tail end of lap one already, AJ.
Yeah, and I've watched a bit of Johansson's racing on his Twitch stream, and I know he's a very wily character, as you say, a high race IQ. So he knows what he's doing, and it'll be interesting to see whether Antonidas wants to work with him or whether he wants to try and bring his teammate back into the fight for the P1 and P2 positions.
Look, I guarantee you that Antonidas will be racing smart here. He's a canny fella. And I tell you what, I too have watched a bit of Dennis Johansson's stream this week, and I've watched a bit of it generally, just trying to pick up what I can, because the guy's very handy in these cars. But I tell you what, the car control that this guy displays at any given moment is incredible. He puts his car in places that I would just not dream of, and pulls it off and does it with supreme ease by the looks of it. So these two now looking to play a little bit friendly in the early stages, out to a 2.2 second gap as 2 by 2, lots of twos there. They go through turn 4 as Cantor now forced very wide out of that turn 4, racing up the hill into what is, the setup move that you want to make into turn 8, which is another legit passing opportunity, AJ.
Yeah, it's getting very busy back there in the chasing pack, and I think Cantor's going to be kicking himself for the early mistake. Or run in, I should say. But yeah, they were nearly 3 wide going up out of turn 4 into turn 5. So it's very racy back here, but that's just going to cost them time.
Yeah, look, that early altercation being reported by someone very observant was absolutely netcode. But I got to tell you, I think the damage was done through the first couple of corners. I think the gap was already there, and Antonidas and Johansson were well and truly off to the races, dare I say it. But Cantor now looking to break away from the hard-charging Christian Cabanca, who is on the front of a pack that stretches all the way back to Danny Gomes in P12, AJ. It's a long train for this final spot on the podium.
Yeah, and it looks like Johansson and Antonidas, they're doing the smart thing up front. They're just leapfrogging along the straights, making sure that they don't cost each other too much time. Meanwhile, this second pack, they don't know whether to attack or defend. It looks like most have held station into the center S's. But yeah, I'd be really scratching my head as to what you want to do now to try and chase down this lead pack. And just looking, it looks like we've lost Enzo Cantor.
Yeah, he's just exiting the pits now. Perhaps that he did pick up damage out of that incident. I thought I saw him grab pit entry on the way round last lap, and that was the case, which leaves Christian Cabanca on the front of what is an amazingly busy pack full of international drivers, with Kevin Henderson leading the local charge, the 12-plated car here tonight. Look at this, 2 and 3 wide coming into this turn 7, now sweeping turn 7, 6 and 7 combined. Swing out wide on the approach and cut back into turn 8. Looks like the 4 car in Marza, Oscar Chinchilla Marza, not getting it done there. Henderson able to defend through the subsequent turn 9 left-hander and hold on to that position. Oh, there's incidents behind. It looks like Vascalampi has had a moment there with Soria, the 17 car.
Snell.
Was it Snell, was it?
Yeah.
And it looks like Vascalampi now driving a Formula Ford with that rear wing missing and crabbing like nobody's business. Suspension damage in that car. Very unfortunate for Vascalampi, who's had, I have to say, after speaking to him during the week, protestations about having a garbage week, but, well, this race is not an example because he looks like he's picked up a lot of iRacing and a lot of racing during the week, so that's not the way he wanted this night to go out, though, AJ.
Yeah, well, that was all just caused from Chinchilla Marza. He had a little bit of a look on Henderson, and that just caused the checkup. Uh, Ben, he didn't really have anywhere to go there, and got into the back of, oh, who was I talking about?
Escalampy.
Vascalampi. Sorry, yes, got into the back of Vascalampi.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the replay. My replay button's not going too well. Here we go. So Marza, yeah, I see that. Marza just slowing down on the entry there. I've got to say, it looked like it might have been Snell coming in a bit hot, all said and done. But anyway, that might be the case for the guys to talk about after the race. Meanwhile, back up front, we have our two leaders, Hansen and Antonides, once again playing nice. Kevin Henderson now leading that charging pack for the final step on the podium. Full 4 seconds behind, but no doubt grinning all the way to the iRating back if he can hang on to this spot, AJ.
Yeah, Henderson, he's a bit of a quiet achiever, isn't he? We talk up some of the other Aussies, but Henderson, he's in there week after week, getting the job done more often than not. So it's great to see him up in P3, and Christian Kabanka as well, who I know is probably racing at about 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. Great to see him out there challenging the rest of the Aussies.
Yeah, absolutely. He stayed up late for this one, that's for sure. Either that or he's up early. It's one or the other, because it's near enough to the wee hours in the morning over there in California for Christian. So thanks for turning out tonight, mate, and hopefully the racing, well, it does. It looks to be keeping him interested, if nothing else, as they go 3 wide now on the closing stages of lap 5 of 13 here tonight. Henderson leading the charge. They're going to try and make it 4 wide, can they? The 17 car looking up the inside, and it looks like Kabanka has lost 2 positions in there, with Snell looking to make it a 3rd if he can on the run up the opening straight here on the run down to turn 4, AJ.
Yeah, the pack just shuffling around there, and Soria getting very close to the back of Henderson, but that's and we've got Henderson now. He wants to have a go at leading the pack again, and he gets through on Chinchilla Marza nice and easily. Marza just making it nice and easy for him, but that's what I'm going to wonder is, where do you want to be on the final lap for Johansson and Antonitis? And I'm thinking that you're going to be wanting to lead coming out of that final turn.
Look, it depends. I have to say, AJ, the cars have changed a little bit, as we've discussed both here and on one of our recent podcasts. It depends, any more than half a second or thereabouts, and the guy in front's got the advantage, but half a second or less with a good run out of the final corner, and the guy sitting in P2 has got it all at his disposal. But and Johansson knows that, as does Antonides, and I imagine for the time being, as we're in the mid stages of lap 5 now, they'll continue to work together until such time as one of them decides to stay behind or defend the lead position, depending on what that strategy for them looks like, AJ.
Yeah, and well, the other thing you have to consider is the racecraft of the 2 drivers as well. One thing, I'd be a little bit nervous myself trying to keep up with guys of this caliber. I certainly wouldn't back myself to be able to make that run on the final turn. But both these guys, they definitely have the skill to do it, probably from either position.
Yeah, and I reckon they'd back themselves too, both having enough experience and confidence in these cars to get it done. Meanwhile, we've got this second race pack here. 5 cars, I'd say, line astern, heading up towards... but who have we lost? We've lost Henderson. We were talking him up, and he's just going into the pits now. Let me see if I can't find what happened to Mr. Henderson. He's pretty lonely there. Oh, he's wobbly there. Still wobbly there. There we go. Let's see what happened here. Ron through the left-hander. The rear of the car stepped out on him. He's got a bit too much curb. And then the 17 car tonight has had a couple of moments. The 17 car in Soria has just been unable to cope or cater to the slowdown that happened to Henderson there, and he's ended up turning him, which has put an end to the competitive night of Kevin Henderson, no doubt, and he will be not particularly happy about that, and I'm sure there was some words said over the radio. But meanwhile, up front we had Johansson and Antonitis continuing their battle, and this second pack continuing on their way, jumping a bit further back. 6 seconds behind that second pack, we've got Samuel Collins leading the sole Team Ovaltine driver here tonight, and Dennis Fiedler. Welcome return to Dennis. Great to see him back out there on track. Car 14 tonight, sitting in P9, so likely to grab some points out of that. And just in front of, or just behind them, I should say, Enzo Cantor and Barry Arends in a battle amongst themselves, looking to salvage what they can from this race. Although Barry Arends has not been in the pits and Enzo has, so I'm not sure what sort of misfortune has become of Arends this race, but not perhaps where he thought he might be, AJ.
No, well, it's he's going to have a great person to battle with, isn't he? He'll really be put to the test with Cantor right there behind him. But yeah, a good job by Collins and Fiedler. Fiedler's now gotten back in front of Collins, and Fiedler, the real mover of this race, up 11 positions from where he started.
Yeah, looking to bag 130 official championship points and 50 iRating if he hangs on to that position. That'll be a fantastic return to one of the strongest races of the week for Fiedler, and well done to him if he can hang on to that. I'd suggest might have his work cut out for him with 6.5 laps to go, with a hard charging Cantor and Arends looking to chase him down. But if he works well with Gomes, or Collins I should say, they might get away with it. After that, dropping back, we've got Daniel Edmonds sitting in P12, last of the Monday Night Lights points scoring positions, followed by we have Vascalampi fighting his way back, currently in P13, and ruining the earlier incident just in front of Peter Goller, who is up 6 positions from where he started at the rear of the field, and doing pretty well for himself, the 19 car. Sean Caron, a Monday Night Lights regular these days, car 15 tonight, managed to fight his way back into the top split, but has been through the pits and is down in 15th. 16th, just behind him, is Team Milo driver Russell Clark, looking to improve on his results last year. He did very well in the championship overall, but certainly not where he didn't finish first, which is where he was going into the final round, and unfortunately not going to score any points tonight by the looks. Kevin Henderson all the way back down in P17, with Mick Gray having also been through the pits, now in P18, with 2 retirements being Matt Lee and Ignacio Sanchez. Jumping back up to the front, AJ, our 2 rivals here, the 1 and 3 car of Johansson and Antonides, now in a battle nose to tail still, as we about halfway through lap 8 of 13, AJ.
Yeah, I've just been keeping an eye on the proceedings up front, and the front 2 are happily just continuing to play leapfrog. Not afraid to push it, I have to say. Johansson was getting quite wide out onto the grass at times on the previous lap, and then the secondary pack behind them, well, they don't really know where they want to go. We've had 3 wides, we've had cars jostling all over the place, so to pretty much pick your own adventure. Which pack do you want to watch? Because there's plenty going on wherever you look.
Absolutely, and that's the kind of racing you get here at Interlagos. I have my good points and my ups and downs with the new Skippy in terms of the changes that iRacing made to how these cars drive. I think at most tracks, 9 out of 10 tracks, it's improved the racing and the strategy that you have to employ to get a good result. But I have to say, as good as the racing is here at Interlagos, it's not quite the same as it was before. And as I say that, they go 3 wide down the main straight and make a liar out of me, because I do have some great memories of doing broadcasts here where we've had 4 wide for the lead into the first corner in the last lap, and all 4 cars making through unscathed, which was spectacular. The racing is not quite as it was then, but it's not far off it, and this is certainly a very popular driver among the Skippy, very popular track, I should say, amongst the Skippy drivers, AJ.
Yeah, and I was just watching Danny Gomes there. He put off a fantastic move on Ben Snell going into the turn 1, really showing off why he's a 5K driver. absolute demon on the brakes there. So perhaps he's going to be looking to make a bit of an inroad on this secondary pack now.
Well, now is the time to do it. I just heard slip sliding in the background, but it must have just been cornering of the cars in front as they go around this sweeping right-hander that is turns 6 and 7 combined. Oh, I forgot what you were saying there, mate. Sorry, you go. I lost my train of thought there. Not often that happens to me, but I did lose my train of thought. I did have something to say in answer to what you were doing, but this pack and the sound distracted me entirely, as is the racing itself, which is a lot of fun to behold.
Yeah, it's hard to know where to look, isn't it? But yeah, I was just saying, Gomes is there in, or well, not in P4, but fourth in this line of cars. I'm interested to see how he goes. I haven't seen any of his racing before, so it's going to be interesting. A 5K driver in there mixing it up with 2K, 4K, 3K drivers. I'll be interested to see whether he can press on and try and get up into the podium position.
Yeah, I have to say for me in that pack, the cat amongst the pigeons is Soria. He's car 17 plated. Now in your regular field, one single split or maybe a two split, the 17 car is one to watch out for in terms of how consistent are they. But 2.5k, 2.6k driver here, no slouch. But when you throw in someone like Gomes, who we don't know how much he races in the Skippy, but he's got double the I rating. Does he have double the pace and skill? That's the question. Well, Soria, we have seen a lot of Iberian club members out this week enjoying the racing here at Interlagos. Is he just here as a one-hit wonder? Has he just been here this week, or is he here to stay, and how does he race that 17k? He's my pick to watch. I think he's already had a couple of touches here and there, but certainly in amongst that battle and showing that he at least got the pace to stay with the front runners, AJ.
Well, just into turn 4 then, sorry, he made a very smart move. He just got on the brakes a little bit earlier to let Chinchilla Marza through, and that allowed Soria to maintain his position without a threat from Gomes behind. So it may only be 2.5 k IR, but it's looking like he's racing, really above that level at the moment. So you're right, he could be the dark horse in this pack.
Yeah, well, I remembered what I was going to say. Oh, as we see Gomes go very deep under brakes, cost him on exit, but still well and truly in the fight. That move you mentioned that Gomes made, it's this time of the race with just the 3 laps to go next time they cross the line, is when you're in a pack like this that you're starting to think to yourself, how do I progress? If he was on the tail end of this pack, he's now 2 spots up from there and looking to move up potentially another one this lap. And because realistically, you were saying before, do you want to be on the front or second of a racing pack on the last lap? Well, you're not either if you're not there, sort of thing. If you're on number 5 in a pack, you're not going to get anywhere. So these guys now really looking, as we see Kabanka come up the inside, almost making it 3 wide. The boys did it themselves, making it 2 wide through the centre S's, turns 1 and 2 now, and they've got themselves sorted nicely. Look at that. Once again, Gomes showing all the skill of the car, number 2 here tonight, number 2 rated driver, getting on the front when it counts, AJ.
Yeah, he's really showing he's got the brakes sorted in that Skippy, and just showing or schooling the other guys around him. But Chinchilla Marza coming back now. Oh, he's gone too deep though. He's lost the rear, and they've touched. Actually, I think that's worked out well for Chinchilla Marza. He's just been straightened up by Gomes there and kept on his merry way.
I think he'll be off the back of the pack. Why don't we grab a look at that though in replay here? As they come into the corner, very deep under brakes was Marza. The rear of the car stepping out slightly as he struggled to pull it up by the looks. And as the other guys have really got nowhere to go at that point. Little touch from Gomes, as you say. And the race, at least with the 4 out of the 5 cars there, in fact, all of them will continue, but I think the 4 out of the 5 there will be the only ones left on that pack. No, Marza has managed to hang on, and it's now Gomes and Kabanka looking to make a gap if they can. 7/10 if they're smart here. They might just be able to get away, but who knows? As we cross the line now with 2 laps to go this time, we have Johansson. Oh, hello. There's Mick Gray. We've got Johansson and Antoinides now crossing the line, still playing smart. I would suggest to you that either they will leapfrog one more time next lap, or Johansson stays there and tries to get it on the line. That's my tip, AJ. Where do you go on this?
Well, I've sneakily been keeping an eye on these two, and Johansson has not put a move on Antonitis for the last couple of laps. We'll see what he does now. No, he's just backing off. So it's looking like Johansson is content to just sit in that P2 position. He is confident. Oh, as Antonitis gets a huge slide on, Johansson has to take avoiding action. Picks up a 1x there. They both survive, but that's how easily this could all go wrong for them if they're not careful.
Well, it makes me wonder what's going on in those helmets there, AJ. Is there ducks and drakes? Does nobody want to lead this race? Are these magic incidents just appearing from nowhere from these top class drivers? I don't know, AJ. I think there's some more afoot than it might at first appear, shall we say, but who knows? Ultimately, only the drivers themselves will know, but it's not unheard of around here for that to happen. This pack of 5 now for the minor spot, the final position on the podium, is led by Christian Kabanka, ahead of Danny Gomes, who might be waiting for his opportunity. And behind there, Snell, after that earlier incident where I think it was Vascalampi that he got tied up with, representing ANZ here tonight and Team Milo, has managed to get back onto that front pack, and it looks to be Marza, who knows what sort of damage he picked up in that minor touch, who's got Soria on his tail, and it looks like they might be struggling to hang on to that pack, AJ.
Yeah, it does look like that, as watch Johansson is doing everything he can not to pass Antonitis, but it's looking like Gomes is going to have a go at Kabanka here. So taking the tactic that I would take, he wants to try and lead on this final lap, I'd say.
Look as they swing out there, but up the inside goes Kabanka. He will get the driving line out of turn 2 into turn 3 now as they complete the center S's for the final time. And it looks like Kabanka has tried to get away and make a bolt for it. Make a bolt for the cash. Kabanka, we'll call him, as Gomes ducks right in behind. Tell you what, Kabanka's left the door open on the inside if Gomes wants to take it, but no. You got Snell around the outside there. Wheel to wheel they go. No contact. And up the inside, looking to get a move done, is Soria. Oh, Snell there. Looks to almost cut him off. And meanwhile, Kabanka and Gomes looking to get it done. Snell, the rear of the car, just gripping up as they go through turn 6, through 7 now. Looking to go up the inside of Gomes will be Snell, making a dive through 8 there. But Gomes will have the run out there and the inside running through 9. And look up the inside. Up the inside, it's Soria getting it done on Snell, but Snell will have the run into that final hairpin-like corner at turn 11.
And we got the leaders, they're just coming around the last corner now. Antonitis had a big blink there, and Johansson is chasing. He is within a couple of tenths.
4 tenths.
Could get it done, yeah. 3 tenths, it's down to now. He's closing. This might be a good run for him. I think he's going to have to go the outside. Antonitis, he jinks right and jinks left. Oh, Johansson wants to go up the inside, and I think Johansson's going to get it done. He is half a car length by Johansson over Antonitis.
Fantastic racing there as we jump back now to that second pack led by Christian Kabanka. Kabanka now ahead of Gomes. Snell on the tail of there with trying to fend off Soria, hard charging Soria, and Snell showing his drifting skills there at the end. Did not get it done for P3, but did. Christian Kabanka taking out 3rd position on the podium with Snell putting on a show at the end there. Enzo Cantor managed to fight all the way back to P8. And in fact, Fiedler and Collins did not manage to, stave off Cantor and Arends, relegating themselves, unfortunately, or being relegated to 10 and 11. Vascalampi managing to get back all the way into the points in P12 as the last stragglers start coming across the line, and that was a Team Milo engine being blown as he crossed the line there for one Russell Clark. Now that the guys have all finished their eventful races, we shall take a look at the results. Dennis Johansson from Scandinavia, all that practice that he did this week, all that racing that he did paid off tonight. Strategy paid out, and he won by just 35 1/1000ths of a second from Fahim Antonitis from UK and I. Great to see Fahim back in action, looking to make his second tilt, a returning champion at the Monday Night Lights Championship. Fantastic result for young Christian Cabanca, staying up late while school is out to finish third spot on the podium tonight. Well done, Christian. Danny Gomes managing to hold on there at the end and fight his way up to P4, up some 5 positions in this sort of field is no mean feat. Ben Snell, leading ANZ club member there in P5 with a fight all the way to the end. P6 tonight went to Jose Soria from Iberia, and P7, Oscar Chinchilla Marzo, regular here on a Monday night from Iberia also. Look at the spread of times there from those 5. 11 seconds behind the lead down to 13. It was a very tight spread, particularly between 4th to 6th. Enzo Cantor, after that early incident, finding his way back after a pit stop, down 5 positions in P8. Barry Arends, welcome back to Barry, although not the race perhaps that he was chasing, all the way down in P9. P10 went to Samuel Collins, a great result from him on this one of many of his Monday Night Lights, but not perhaps as far up as you would have liked, but gee, it was a strong field. Welcome return for Dennis Fiedler, the Team Oval team driver, as high as 7th or 8th at one point, but the quicker guys came through on the fight back and he was relegated down to P11. P12, Vascalampi finding his way back from the early pit stop after the incident with Snell from Finland. P13, Daniel Edmonds from ANZ, up 4 spots. The 16-plated car, good drive from him. Sean Carron down 1 spot from where he started, and I believe he had a trip through the pits. Yes, he did, and certainly not the ideal return after Christmas for Sean in his Monday Night Lights tilt. Peter Goller down, or up 5 positions, I should say. Car plate number 19, 15th, strong performance from him. 16th went to Mr. Russell Clark from ANZ and Team Milo. Not the result he was chasing, no doubt. Neither for Mick Bray, who was all the way down in P17 after that a run through the pits for himself. Kevin Henderson down 1 lap. We saw him have an unfortunate incident early on after being so well positioned, as high as P3 if I'm not mistaken. Matt Lee and Ignacio Sanchez out to retirements, AJ.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Henderson and Vascalampi. Those two looked like they had speed in that second pack and could have definitely taken home a podium. But, that's pack racing around here with the drafts. Yeah, anything can happen and usually does. But great race, and I'm sure there was a lot more action throughout that race than what we saw. But just so much going on up front, you can't look everywhere, can you?
No, 100%. There was a lot going on. Similar style of racing that we've seen throughout the week for those of you who have raced or watched any of the races. It's been pretty much like that throughout. A bit of action here and there as guys sometimes struggle to adjust to the big packs that we see here at Interlagos, and at other times some fantastic racing to go with it. We have a couple of guys in the green room. 2 Movano boys. We'll bring them up in finishing order, starting with Mr. Antonides. For him, Alex McKellar and Alex John in the Top Split TV commentary booth, mate. P2 here tonight. Good return after Christmas. Looks like the Ducks and Drakes are out in force with you and Dennis out in front there, mate.
Yeah, Dennis did an astonishing lap during qualifying to get into the 49.8. That was a very, very good lap. I just missed out on a 49. I got a 50.000, but even if it was a little bit under, I think he had the pace on me in qualifying today. And then during the race, we quickly figured out what we needed to do after lap 1, which was to do a relay down the straights. The perfect strategy on this track would be to leapfrog each other down the 2 straights, the main start-finish straight and the back straight. Even more perfect would be if you had the slightly faster of the 2 cars leapfrogging in the second straight, so that they can take care of so that the faster car can take care of the infield section, where the pair would be faster going through the bends if the lead car is the faster car than if so that would be the perfect strategy to play. And that's not that there was any there was any difference between us pace wise, so it didn't really matter in our situation who took the lead in the infield or not. But as it happened, Dennis decided to hold back 3 laps from the end. Obviously, at that point, he thought, and obviously we had enough of a gap to the guys behind where we didn't need to carry on leapfrogging. And then, of course, he just wanted to sit back to outdraft me onto the main straight. And with this new Skippy, as opposed to the previous build, it's 50-50 as to whether you can do that. Because if the lead car can get a decent exit out of that final corner onto the start-finish straight, the drafting car behind could struggle to make it over the line. And I mean, I could have feigned a mistake so that he could take the lead, but that would have been a shitty thing to do. I couldn't get myself to do that. And so I thought I'm just going to have to do the lap of my life in the last lap to try and get a really good exit out of that last corner. And it was a pretty decent exit. And if you look at the replay, if you load up the replay, you'll see what happened, because right towards the very end of that lap, he was right on my tail. And he was going. I was surprised he went onto the inside, going straight for the wall separating the pit entry and the main track. Clearly, he expected me to leave some room, and I was in front. I didn't have to leave any room. I could have just squeezed him out. And he would have to slam on the brakes and get back onto the track, and otherwise he'd have hit that wall. But because he expected me to leave room, I kind of did,
Yeah.
and that was enough for him to get those little inches over the line on me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I did wonder. I speculated whether the Ducks and Drakes were out with the mistake from yourself and Dennis in the closing stages. I wondered because it was running wide through turn 4. But good to hear that wasn't the case. I would have expected nothing less from you, mate, than 100%. And so it's great to hear. And you and I, mate, we think very much alike in terms of the new Skippy and the strategy there. And I saw the good exit out of that final corner.
Yeah.
I thought you had a good shot. He was just about 4 tenths, and I say probably 5 tenths, and I reckon you might have had him.
Yeah. Well, coming out of the corner, I think it was 5 tenths, but as just a little pip after that, it was down to 4 tenths before we actually hit the main straight properly. So I thought it was going to be touch and go, but I kind of wish I hadn't left him room on the inside, because he would have just had to throw the anchors, and otherwise he would have hit the wall. But again, I couldn't get myself to to be that mean.
I tell you what, there's plenty of races out there that would have. So once again, the gentleman in you showing out. But listen, thank you very much for joining us here once again tonight. Also, for those of you playing at home, Fahim will be joining me for the Top Split podcast that we'll be recording this week. So keep an eye out for that. One of the great minds and gentlemen on the track in the Skip Barber series. So looking forward to that, mate. But before we let you go tonight, anyone like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thank you to you guys for the lovely broadcast and the post-race interviews, which are always very interesting. Thanks to my team, Thrustmaster Mentano, who are always supporting me on track. Teammate Enzo, who had a really bad luck today on the start finish, and I'm sure he'll tell you about it just now. And I wish everybody a very happy new year for this year. Hope it all goes well for everyone.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for him, mate, and look forward to
Cheers,
talking to you later in the week.
Bye-bye.
There you go, AJ. Next podcast guest coming up, Mr. Fahim Antonides. Great result from him tonight. Always gives us a great insight into what was going on in the cockpit.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Interesting podcast to look forward to. I look forward to hearing you pick his brain. Maybe we can all learn a thing or two about the Skippy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm looking forward to as well. Well, custom here is to go in finishing order, which means we bring up Mr. Christian Kabanka. Christian, mate, late night for you or what? But what a result in what was a really hard-fought battle.
Yeah, it was very intense battle for third. I wish we had kept up with Dennis and Fahim, but knowing their speed, it was always going to be a challenge. I got past a bit towards the end, but that was due to me not willing to fight because, in previous races here, if you become too aggressive, it's easily that either you make a mistake or you get taken out. So I sort of just waited until my time came, and maybe I think that time came around maybe 2 to 3 laps to go, and I took the opportunity and got third, which is a good result.
Yeah, fantastic result, mate. It's a really strong field here tonight. The racing was fantastic, and working inside that pack is no mean feat to get that result, mate. Let me tell you. Tell us, we were talking to you've had a bit of on-track experience in the real world of late. Any of that help you in the strategy or the techniques there out on track tonight?
I think in terms of wheel to wheel racing, it did really help because I was able to anticipate better with where people were braking and where they were alongside me. But yeah, that I think that's where it contributed the most. So at least I had a more level headed compared to some other guys, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I wondered about that sort of scenario. Certainly doing it on the track in the real world, I would like to think gives you plenty of cool heads when others are losing theirs, so to speak. So congratulations on a fantastic result tonight. Really appreciate you staying up into the wee hours, or maybe getting up into the wee hours. I don't know, but thank you again for coming out tonight. Glad you had a great result. And anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Um, I actually would like to give a shout out to you guys. I really love doing these type of races, though maybe the hours aren't the best, but the competition is great, and I do it with some doing it with some drivers that I know and really respect, and it's just fun to race around them.
Absolutely, mate. That's what we look to certainly build here. So it's great that someone like yourself looks forward to it and enjoys it so much, mate. So thank you very much for coming out tonight. And we look forward to hopefully some more, I don't know, school holidays or something that we can get you back here.
Yeah, hopefully. Not sure, maybe in the recent future, but hopefully I can try as best I can.
Awesome. Thanks, Christian. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
There you go, AJ. Real world experience helping him out on the track tonight. Great to see, and a good young kid there.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, go and take a look at his videos. It's pretty good watching someone thrash a little Skip Barber type car around Sebring. Good to see him out here tonight.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, next on our agenda, if I can grab the right camera, is Mr. Ben Snell, Team Milo's own leading ANZ club member here tonight, finishing in position number 5. Ben, quite an eventful race, mate. Tell us how it unfolded.
Hi guys, that was hectic. Holy crap.
Yeah, mate, looked pretty hectic. It was a big pack of 5 there, very racy, not without incident for yourself. Run us through what happened with Timu in those early laps.
Oh, I think it was lap 3. It was just a bigger checkup than both of us were expecting. We had to chat about it afterwards. Kind of similar to what happened at Super Sips last night, except instead of me checking up the pack, I killed Timu.
Yeah.
So, but the same thing. He checked up, and I didn't have anywhere to go, unfortunately, and I managed to survive somehow. Just had a bit of wing damage, but Timu had to pit.
Yeah, actually, timely that you're speaking about it. We just caught it on camera in the replay there. Yeah, absolute shame, but an unfortunate part of racing. Sometimes we just can't react quick enough to incidents like that. But look, putting that to one side, really impressive and good drive from yourself to be able to, after that, not only not lose the pack, but get involved in some pretty healthy battles out there. Glad to hear the racing was so enjoyable as well, mate. I know you've had some bad luck in recent seasons, but good to see you up the pointy end.
I'm happy to finish, for one. And yeah, top 5 is definitely all I could have hoped for tonight with my pace.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Well, before we let you go tonight, anyone you'd like to give a special shout out to?
As always, you guys for broadcasting the event. So I'll watch this tomorrow after work and laugh at myself. And of course, go Team Milo.
Go Team Milo indeed. All right, thanks, Ben, and we look forward to talk to you in the coming weeks.
Cheers.
There you go, AJ. Team Milo always at the forefront of people's hearts and minds. Great to see a good result from young Ben tonight.
Yeah, highlighting the good thing about racing in this group. Everyone generally knows each other, and the guys being able to have a good chat afterwards and come to an agreement is always good to hear.
Yeah, look, it's a tight knit community of racers who like to get out there and get amongst it, but also get on pretty well off track as well. Now, our last interview from the top split, Mr. Enzo Cantor. Enzo, tell us about it, mate. What unfolded? You had a really good fight back, I have to say, to finish in the top 10. Really impressed with the fight back, mate. But how did you end up in that position?
Hi guys. Well, today happened a strange thing because when I was on the starting grid and I see the lights of the lights of the start, when I put my first gear on, while I was all pressing my clutch and with my first gear put in, my car started to move backward because you know the starting grid is over a little climb, and the car started to move backward. So for that reason, I had a jump start penalty, and I had to do a stop and go. But the car didn't move forward; it moved backward. So ridiculous because I was already handicapped because the car moved backward and I had to stop and go. So unlucky day for me. But yeah.
Mate, I was wondering because I saw you go through the pits. I thought there was a bit of contact early on that might have. There was a netcode contact early on that you looked to drive away from. Okay, and apparently you did. The run through the pits was just for the stop and go. That's a crazy thing. The downhill. Normally the brake picks up and you're right, but that's a trap for young players to look out for in the future.
It's something that never happened to me because sometimes in some tracks it already happened that when I put my first gear, the car started to move a little bit forward or backward, but I never had a jump start penalty for that. So I really couldn't expect this one today. So I think the next time I have to push my brake pedal while waiting for the green lights. So very strange, but yeah, this is iRacing.
It is, mate. Sounds like you need 3 feet. One for the clutch, one for the brake, and one for the
I need a third leg. I have a third leg, but it's too short.
So please. All right, mate.
Well, okay.
On that note, mate, thanks again for turning out tonight. We really do appreciate your support. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Yeah, as always, I have to say thanks to my team, Mivano Trasmaster, my team manager Fabio Mantellini, my teammates, and all the drivers with I have fight. I had fight today because finally it was a funny race for me, even if I finished it in 8th position.
Great work, Enzo. All right, mate. Well, thank you once again for your support, and we look forward to talk to you in the coming weeks.
Yeah, sure. See ya.
There you go, AJ. I left the door open and he walked right through it, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I guess it's after midnight somewhere around the globe, isn't it? So we join in the late night commentary team.
I tell you what, I'll lose my PG rating at this rate. Oh dear, what a cracker! All right, folks, that is about all we have for this evening. Coming up next week, of course, I think we're off to Mid-Ohio. I do not expect us to have as strong a field. Oh, hang on. I forgot one. Sorry, folks. There's one more in the booth. The green room waiting to come up. Corey. I nearly forgot young Corey in the booth. Corey Steinhauser, mate, tell us, which you would have been, I'm guessing, in the third split tonight, maybe the second. Tell us about your race, mate. How did it go?
Oh, I was in the third split tonight. Good strength of field all around for all the splits because we had a quad 11, like a quad 1 split tonight for the third split.
Nice.
I started from the back because I get a little bit nervous about that center chicane on the starts, and I managed to work my way all the way up to 9th.
Yeah,
and
nice.
In that process, I actually did a personal best lap of the first time ever of 52.814. My
Beautiful.
previous best before that was a 53.8, so I don't know where I gained that extra second from, but it was amazing.
Awesome, mate. Did you have many battles on track tonight? What was the on track action like with your cohort there in the third split?
It was a lot of in the pack. There was a lot of close, hard battles all throughout. I was always kept busy the entire race, whether it was defending or attacking. A lot of great racing. There was a couple of big incidents from the replays that I had a look at post race, but we had David Anton who came out on top with a 10-second gap over John Lawton's second, and then a further 4.5 seconds back to Gordon Smith, who came home in third.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Well, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. And of course, those of you looking to check out some on-track action live from the cockpit, Corey is a streamer on Twitch. Corey, you want to let people know where they can find you on Twitch?
Yeah, mate. If anyone wants to come and watch me live during the third split MNL race, you can catch me at twitch.tv/Corey Has No Life 13. And I just want to give a quick shout out to you guys up here in the booth broadcasting the top split racing. You guys do an amazing job every week, and I'm glad to see you guys back. Also, a quick shout out to all the 27 people who are currently watching me on Twitch, and to my moderators who always do a fantastic job keeping chat in check.
Awesome. That's great stuff, Corey. Well, thanks for joining us here once again, mate. We look forward to talking to you in the coming weeks.
No worries, mate. I'll see you next week.
There you go, AJ. Young up-and-coming skivvy driver who likes to get out there. I'll tell you what, he does a bit of commentary himself for the Dirt Oval, so no higher praise than one of our colleagues in a different, albeit a different booth.
Yeah, great to hear from our roving reporter, Corey Steinhauser there.
Yeah, that's right. Gee, I had something lined up there. Oh, that's right. Mr. Hansen, who was, of course, our winner here tonight. If can I tell you, AJ and I both mentioned he is a streamer as well, and both of us have spent time in his channel this week picking up tips and just watching some pretty awesome skills on display. My recommendation to you guys is maybe go check it out for yourselves. Race Driver 77. I believe is the channel name, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just get it right. It is Race Driver 77. I would strongly recommend even, you go and check him out because it's well worth the view, as we saw here tonight, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely. Great number, that's 77. So, you can't beat them. Join them, that's what I say.
That's it. Well, this time I went off a bit early, but we are out of time for tonight's race. Next week we are off to Mid-Ohio, where, well, the popularity of the track means that we may not see quite as many people, but hopefully the action will be just as hot out on track as the regulars come to put on a great show, as they always do. AJ, you're back on Twitch as well. Where can the folks at home find you, and what are you racing this week?
Yeah, AJ_77, and I'll no doubt next be on for the OSR F3 Championship. So you and I both been having good fun in that one on a Thursday night.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me also on Twitch at the Top Split TV Twitch channel. Maybe on for some skips tomorrow night. I've got the podcast this week coming up. Keep an eye out at thetopsplit.com for that. But most certainly, if not on tomorrow night, we'll be on Thursday for the online Oceanic Sim Racing Formula 3 series. Been some great racing in there. You and I chasing a top 10 there, hopefully, or better, if we can get it in that series. And then, of course, the Friday Night Race Club on Friday and Saturday, where you and I, mate, I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed that race on Saturday night. Top Split Racing, finishing 1-2 around the mountain. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a fantastic race we had on the Saturday night. Bathurst back again, and it's going to be a whole year-long event this year. So I'm looking forward to that one. 24 events to decide the champion this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right then, folks. For tonight, that'll about do us. Thank you, everyone, for joining in on the race, both on the track and in the chat. We really do appreciate the support. We do it for you guys, and to have you guys turn out in such great force is very much appreciated. But for now, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and on behalf of my co-host, Alex John, we will say ciao for